Most of us go through life thinking we understand reality. We see, we hear, we touch. It all seems pretty straightforward. But what if there's another layer? A kind of hidden operational level where unseen conflicts are directly influencing the world we think we know. Well, the ancient text of Daniel chapter 10, it's like a declassification of that very reality. It gives us a rare glimpse behind the veil. And that brings us to a really central, kind of unsettling question. When you're seeking understanding, when you pray for an answer and all you get back is silence, what's actually happening in that gap? Is it just a simple delay? Or as this account from Daniel suggests, is it something way more active? Something like a conflict? So the story kicks off in a place we can all kind of relate to, a state of really deep personal distress. Daniel is mourning. He's fasting for 3 entire weeks, totally focused on getting a specific understanding. And this isn't passive waiting, not at all. It's an intense, all-in act of devotion, and it's born from this desperate need to know something. So picture this. He's on the bank of the Tigris River. It's just an ordinary day. There are other people around him. Everything is completely normal. And it's right there, in that moment of just mundane, everyday reality, that the veil is about to be completely torn away. All of a sudden, Daniel sees someone. Now, at first, the description sounds simple enough. A man in linen clothes. But that's just the beginning. The description that follows just keeps building, layer by terrifying layer, into something profoundly and frighteningly otherworldly. His body wasn't made of flesh and bone like ours. The text says it was like beryl, a translucent, almost glowing gemstone. This isn't just some poetic metaphor, it's Daniel trying his best to describe a physical substance that exists completely outside our normal categories of being. And his face? Just try to imagine looking directly at a bolt of lightning. Not a picture of one, but the raw, explosive, blinding event itself. That was his face. It was a source of immense, untamed energy, a presence so powerful it was actually painful to look at. And his eyes weren't just bright. The text describes them as flaming torches. Now that suggests a gaze that doesn't just see you, but penetrates. It illuminates everything. It's a gaze that sees right through physical reality itself. And then, when this being speaks, it's not a single voice. The sound is like that of a multitude, like an entire army roaring at once. It's this overwhelming wave of sound with a power and an authority that's just completely beyond human scale. Now here is an absolutely crucial detail. Daniel wasn't alone, and while the other men with him didn't see the vision, they absolutely felt its presence. A great trembling just fell on them, this primal, terrifying fear that was so intense they literally fled and hid themselves. This wasn't just in Daniel's mind. This was a real event, with very real physical consequences for everyone who was nearby. And even Daniel, this man of incredible faith, he can't withstand this presence. His strength just completely drains away. His physical appearance actually changes from the sheer terror of it. And the moment he hears the voice, his body just shuts down. He collapses unconscious. It just goes to show you the immense, impossible gap between our humanity and the raw power of the divine. And then a hand touches him. And the first words are spoken. And despite that terrifying, awesome appearance, the message is one of affection and purpose. O Daniel, man greatly loved. This being isn't here to destroy him. He's here to deliver a message to someone who is held in very high esteem. And the messenger reveals this absolutely critical piece of information. Daniel's prayer was heard on the very first day, instantly. So that raises the question, right? If the prayer was heard immediately, why the 3-week delay? What happened? 21 days. The messenger explains that this number isn't some kind of heavenly processing delay. No, it was the exact duration of an active, unseen battle. For 3 weeks, while Daniel was praying down here on earth, a war was being fought in another dimension just to deliver his answer. And this introduces the core concept that's being declassified for us here, spiritual warfare. It's the idea that behind physical kingdoms like Persia, there are these unseen spiritual authorities. The text calls them princes. And they're exerting influence and engaging in conflicts that have direct consequences for us here on earth. So here, the combatants in this unseen battle are revealed. On one side, you have the divine messenger, sent with the answer to Daniel's prayer. and on the other, a hostile entity that's identified as the Prince of the Kingdom of Persia, whose entire mission was to block that message from getting through. I mean, this is direct testimony. It's like a field report from the messenger himself. For 21 straight days, he was locked in a struggle, actively resisted by a spiritual power that was assigned to the Kingdom of Persia. This reveals that the geopolitical realities we see on Earth, they have a spiritual parallel. So what broke the stalemate? How did the message finally get through? Well, the messenger reveals that he couldn't break through on his own. He says that Michael, who he calls one of the chief princes, came to help him. The battle only turned when this high-ranking reinforcement arrived on the scene. And this gives us just a little glimpse into a kind of spiritual hierarchy. You've got these powerful messengers on a mission, you've got these hostile regional princes assigned to nations, and then you have chief princes like Michael, who seem to operate at a higher level of authority and are capable of breaking through really significant opposition. But even after hearing all of this, Daniel is still just completely overwhelmed, physically unable to even speak. He needs a second touch from this messenger just to regain his strength. And this detail is so important because it reinforces that the ability to even comprehend this hidden reality has to be divinely given. You can't do it on your own. And here it is. The purpose of it all is finally laid bare. The reason for the intense prayer, the terrifying vision, and the 21-day spiritual war was to deliver classified information about the future. It was a vision so important that heavenly and hostile forces literally went to war over its delivery. So what Daniel 10 gives us, really, is reality declassified. It pulls back the curtain, and it suggests that the political and historical events that we see might be influenced by unseen spiritual battles between these incredibly powerful entities who are either aligned with or against the purposes of heaven. And this leaves us with a really profound and maybe a little unsettling thought to chew on. If this framework is real, if spiritual forces tied to nations are actively engaged in conflict behind the veil of our world, what does that mean for the global events that are unfolding right now? What battles are being fought unseen today?